Welcome to the Superconscious Success Podcast, where Jen and her Superconscious Success family co-hosts bring you valuable content each and every week on topics relating to manifestation, spirituality, and most of all, using your superconscious to manifest success in all areas of your life. Now on to today's episode.
Hey there, Superconscious Success fam. Just before we get into the interview, this is just a brief message. This is actually a recording of the 2021 Superconscious Success Summit interviews. If you do want to check out the introductory for all of the guests, then you can go across to our Superconscious Success YouTube channel where you'll be able to find all the introductions. These particular podcast interviews will be the interview only. Okay, thank you. Now let's get on to the interview. Hi there, Superconscious Success fam. Welcome back to another incredible interview where we're going to be talking to Pix Jonasson. She is absolutely amazing. If you have not yet seen her introductory video, head across to YouTube and check it out. She'll go through her backstory as to why she's actually become the couragepreneur.
Yeah, that's correct.
Fantastic. And how she is working to help to build your courage over overcoming adversities and overcoming trauma that we go through in our life. She helps adult survivors of child sex abuse and other traumas that we are dealing with. So we are going to have an incredible time today. Now, Pix, how are you doing?
I'm fantastic, Jen. Thank you so much. And it is such an honor and privilege, to be a presenter. There's other amazing speakers. They're all amazing. And you've done an incredible job bringing us all together. And, those that are watching, absolutely take heed of what the speakers say. So, yeah, I'm feeling fantastic. Thank you.
Awesome. Me too. I'm having a great time, and I'm so happy to have another Aussie on.
Aussie. Oi, oi, oi.
And that's as we're coming into Australia Day and all sorts of stuff coming up as we record. So it's fantastic. I'm very excited to be talking to you today. As we know, we go through different adversities in our life. Whether it's from childhood, whether it's post-traumatic stress disorder, whether it's whatever we go through, and we need to build our resilience and build our courage to recognize that we have that power within us. We are born with that power. We've just got to build that courage muscle, as you call it, to be able to move through it. So we're going to start off by saying, can you start off by explaining exactly what resilience is and how it actually relates to overcoming these adversities?
Yeah, sure, Jen. Well, resilience, basically everybody's got it, especially in these times. We do need to be resilient. Sometimes we need to be more resilient. But what is resilience? It's really the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties. And, it might be for someone that's really struggling, perhaps with depression, they struggle to get out of bed. Getting out of bed is being resilient and being courageous. And there's a video by Rear Admiral William McRaven, and he's got a lengthy video about it all starts with making your bed. So resilience, it's just that capacity to recover from adversity. And you think, well, what's adversity? And as we know adversity is not a competition either. It's basically a difficult or unpleasant or challenging situation. So when you build your courage or your resilience muscle, it helps you overcome with those. And I'll be honest, I lost my job in COVID. I had to put on my big girl pants, my courage pants, and go, what am I going to do? I'd lost my full-time income. So literally I had to focus on what I could do, not on what I couldn't do. And so being resilient, it's focusing on the positive and looking forward towards things. So it's kind of like falling down 7 times, getting up 8.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that adversity is something that we do all need to go through. It's because if we didn't, then we would have no reason to build our resilience because we've got nothing to actually test us. And this is something that that teenagers deal with a lot, especially with the rise in bullying and that found within the school system.
And social media influencers and that highlight reels, absolutely. And I know, like, something I'm extremely passionate about is suicide and preventing suicide and suicide awareness. I did lose my nephew to suicide, so he's part of my inspiration and motivation. And, you know, you touched on just people needing to be resilient. If you don't have that adversity in your life, you actually got that proverbial silver spoon, and you're not developing your resilience or courage muscle to cope with it. And that's where we're at. We're such a comparison, you know, society. But if you have that adversity, it does. It's like when you go to the gym. You're not going to go to the gym and then get your abs or get your buys straight away. You need to build it over time. And it comes from one visit to the gym at a time and one adversity at a time. So it is just basically one step in front of the other.
Absolutely. And I think that's the thing. We need to take it in little steps. And I've also lost people close to me to suicide. And it is a hard thing to overcome, and especially with the rising amount of teen suicides. So and I've watched, there's some incredible YouTube videos on people that actually deal with bullying, and with prevention of suicide as well. So so being able to, like you said, being able to deal with the adversities and teach our teens how to deal with the adversities as well. And the reason I also bring it back to that is because I do have two teenagers. And you know, my daughter has been through situations of bullying as well. And I think it's important that we instill in them that, you know, bullying is about control. It's about the other person trying to control your reaction to it, and trying to
they're
have
usually
power.
struggling with their own self-esteem issues, which is why they bully, because putting someone else down helps them feel better, which is absolutely the wrong way of doing it. And you know, they hang in gangs, some of them, and it's all about that wanting to belong, albeit the wrong crowd.
Yes, exactly. And it does come down to power, and it does come down to dominance. And I think the same sort of thing happens with sexual abuse and with other types of trauma that occurs. So I think the resilience portion is incredibly important. So you were talking a bit about courage. So what is courage, and why is it so important for us to build that courage up? And what are some sort of little techniques or tips?
Well, courage, really. And I've got this plaque that sits on my desk, and I know it's a little bit challenging to read, but courage doesn't mean you don't feel afraid. It means you don't let fear stop you. And so it's really having the ability to do something that frightens you. Literally, like for someone that is really struggling with their mental health, getting out of bed and facing the day is a real struggle for some people. So it's having the courage to do that. And Mel Robbins says that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, the 5-second rule, get out and do it. For me, it was like
out of your comfort zone. And I just want to pipe in. You've got that plaque of courage. I've got this plaque of strength.
I love it.
Right. And
beautiful.
it says there are times when we are faced with challenges and we don't feel like ourselves. These are the times we need to push ahead and focus on the positive things in our lives. The smallest things can bring a smile, give us strength, and make us feel better. So it's just like with courage, having the strength to be able to
carry
push through. Fantastic. I thought that was quite funny that you've got that there, and then I've got this sitting here. So.
Oh, well, birds of a feather, like mine.
Absolutely.
When you're on the right vibe, hun, you attract the tribe, as you are.
You certainly do. So you've got a 7-step system that we can use to build our courage muscle. And you've put it into an acronym, which I absolutely love. So we're going to go through each of those 7 steps. And we're going to start off with the C, which is connection and communication. So can you go a little bit into that?
Yeah, absolutely. And Jen, I was raised on communication. Both my parents have passed away, as has my sister. But Dad always said, communication, if you haven't got communication, you haven't got anything, which is no surprises why I communicate so much. And I'm all about connection. So how I communicate, there's obviously offline when we can, COVID compliant, everything like that, and also online. I like to take it offline really quickly. If I've connected with someone online, whether it be on Facebook, on LinkedIn, or even Insta, I will often leave a voice message. That's like, you can't copy and paste a voice message. Like, it is you. Like, hey Jen, Pix here, so great to, connect with you. It's like, well, that's not from, copy and paste from that other message. So leave a voice message. And that takes courage for some people to do. Absolutely. Then I will say, would love to just jump on a call and find out a little bit more about what you do and kind of what floats your boat. And then I jump on a video call, and pretty much most people that I've reached out to or who have reached out to me have taken up that. And you get that feel, you get that vibe, you get that energy. So it's all about that better connection and communication. A biggie for me though, Jen, is, I say it, but I wasn't really doing it. 2 ears, 1 mouth.
Yeah.
Be interested in others, not interesting to others. So ask questions, shut up, and listen to the answers.
Yeah, that is a biggie. And I often say my purpose in this world is connection. Yeah. And so this is why I've created the summit. This is why I've created the Super Conscious Success family, because I believe connecting with others is so critically important for being able to, one, get the message out, but two, to get to know people on a deep level. And to get to see where they're at and what they need. And so connection, and I love that you start off with the connection and communication. Yeah. And I also love that you do give those little voice messages, because it just brightens up my day when I get a little message from Pix.
That's really interesting, Jen, because like LinkedIn is a professional networking site, and I've been on LinkedIn many years, and I know there's influencers, and actually my post yesterday was all about everybody's an influencer. You don't need to have 500,000 followers to be an influencer, but I will often leave a voice message for a new connection, and they go, wow, I didn't know you could do that. And like, these are business people. So it's all about making that connection.
I didn't know. Can you do that on LinkedIn? Can you?
There you go. Yes, you can.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
Same as Insta. Yeah. You just get more energy, which is part of the E in the courage. But
fantastic. Yeah, it's definitely something that I think I'm going to start doing, because it's amazing the people that you come in touch with, and it puts a more personal touch to it. And it builds that connection, because connection is so critically important.
Yeah. And I will say that only 7% of our words is actually attributable to what we hear and see. It is body language, it is tonality, it is cadence, the speed we speak at, everything like that. So it is very powerful what you say, I will say that, but it's also more powerful what package it comes in.
Absolutely.
And it's about hearing and understanding. And it's like speak or listen to understand, not to respond.
Yeah, totally. And that's the thing. I think some people, you'll get into a conversation and it seems to always come back to who they are and what they're about, which can make it kind of, you don't have an opportunity to step in, and so it's not about listening. And so I totally agree. We need to be there to listen to them, and I think that's fantastic. I think it's a good point to bring up, and I think this is why texting can sometimes be misrepresented.
Yeah, same as emails, and inadvertently you might leave caps on. It's like, that's shouting. I really didn't mean that. And
it's funny because with my teenager, sometimes like if I text her or something, she's at a friend's place or something, and I text her, even just the simple change in the term okay makes a massive difference, because I can just put a K and she thinks that it means I'm angry at her, whereas if I put okay, then it's a completely different way that she interprets it. So I always make sure I put okay, because otherwise, and it's true, there are so many situations where people may misinterpret it because you don't have that tonality, you don't have that
that personality. Exactly. And little tip, do reread your message before you send them, because like there's predictive text, and the difference between does and dies And Owen and I are very close. I've written dies. And it's like, what? I meant, oh no, I meant does.
And especially with autocorrect now.
Exactly.
Oh,
yeah. Yep. Yeah. That's
anyway,
for sure.
So first we've got connection, we've got communication.
Yep.
Very, very important. The second one is O, and we're going to talk about having an open heart. And this is so critical. So can you go a little bit into that?
Yeah, well, it's about forgiveness, and forgiveness starts with yourself. As we said in the intro, Jen, I'm a survivor of child sexual abuse, and not to impress you, simply to impress upon you that that's my story, that's my backstory. I actually had to forgive my perpetrator.
Yep.
I had to forgive my parents, even though it was totally unbeknownst to them. Because, you know, I just realized that they didn't know, but I was still put in that situation. And most importantly, I had to forgive myself. Forgive myself of the shame, the guilt, that dirty feeling.
Yeah.
You can't give what you haven't got. So unless I started forgiving myself, I couldn't forgive others. And it's a really critical thing when it comes to having courage and your journey of self-healing from whatever abuse or trauma or adversity you've had. And psychologists, it's a conscious decision to actually choose to forgive someone. Because I remember there was a situation at my work, and I won't say where it was, but there were two toxic people. So much so that there were a number of people on suicide watch. And I wasn't one of them, but I chose to remove myself from that environment. I literally left, okay? And I was really angry at that person, one in particular. And I went, you know what? That person doesn't even know I'm angry at them. I had to forgive them. And I absolutely turned it round. It's like, wow, I now love my life. If it wasn't for that person, I would not have left, and I would not now love my life. So I turned forgiveness, or, you know, that anger into forgiveness, and more so love and gratitude, which is another letter in the courage acronym. So it is absolutely a choice to forgive someone. And I do encourage everyone watching to forgive yourself first. You have to forgive yourself first.
Yeah. Recognize that we're all human, and we all make mistakes, and we're not perfect, and it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay for us not to be perfect. It's okay for things to happen. But unless we do forgive ourselves for things that have happened in our life.
Yeah. And part of that open heart is being open-minded too.
Yeah.
Because you can have that open heart, you know, for yourself, for others, personally or professionally. But having that open mind really does open your mind. It opens up new opportunities. And, you know, such as the privilege of presenting here. I'm fairly new to the spirituality side of things, and meditation and mindfulness and, you know, law of not only attraction, law of vibration as well. And then neuroscience, and I'm understanding the brain more, and the superconscious and the subconscious. So having that open mind allows you to have much more of that open heart. And it's through forgiveness and letting go.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. And forgiveness, what people don't understand is that we often will push against forgiveness because we feel that by forgiving somebody, it means saying it's okay.
Yeah.
But the thing is, forgiveness is not about saying it's okay. It's about saying, I am taking my power back. And I will not allow you to affect me anymore. I'm here to live my life. It has happened. It is the past. I can't change it. But I forgive you for what has happened. Because often the person that you've been holding this anger onto for so long doesn't even know that you're angry.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, and they've gotten past it. They've moved on.
I had another personal one. I was in a narcissistic, toxic relationship on and off for 4.5 years. I didn't value myself, so I kept going back to that person. They did attempt suicide, so that's another reason why I'm so passionate about it. And then I had to stand up to that narcissist. And the minute I did and took my power back, he absolutely stepped back. And that was when I made that decision to go, I am worthy. I am not putting up with this. I do not deserve this relationship. I deserve better. And something that helped me forgive was writing a letter.
Yeah, I've done that before.
But I burnt it. So no one else saw the content, but it was such a relief. And I do encourage others, if you're holding on to hatred or that negativity or that toxic thought about somebody else, as you said, Jen, they don't know it. Just let go or do something to remove that.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. Fantastic tips there. I totally agree. The letter is a great thing to do. You never have to give it to them. You can if you want. That is a personal choice. Some people do actually give it to the person, and it helps to free them. But I have done it where I've written a letter to somebody that I needed to forgive, and it was somebody very close to me. And then I just burnt it. And I felt
it's very cathartic. It's like so powerful. It's like, yes.
and I do the same thing on a new moon as well, because I like to go out and do my moon rituals, and so it's let go of what doesn't serve you, and that's what you need to do. So we're going to go on to you now, which I thought is absolutely beautiful, and that is to be uniquely you. We're all unique. Yes.
The Pix factor. Basically, as you said, all 7.5 billion people on the planet, Dan, we are uniquely ourselves. And as Dr. Sue says, no one is youer than you, really. So being uniquely me, I guess what makes me uniquely me? Pix. I've got a funky name. I was only 2 pound 2, and my actually it was my dad and my brother said I look like a little pixie. So hence the name Pix or Pixie.
You do, and it's so
cute. It's like, well, that's me. So people go, oh my God, that's, kind of, it so suits you. So yeah, I've got that name, and being so tiny and just all the adversities that I've had have made me so resilient and me uniquely me. And I just love that I'm on that continuous personal and professional development journey, and I love sharing. So yeah, one thing that through COVID, especially, Jen, I thought I had to be more. I had to be NLP trained. I had to, do the coaching modules and all that. And no disrespect to anybody that's done that. I do want to learn NLP. But someone said, Pix, you are enough. You know enough. You have enough. And it's like, you know what? Damn straight I am. Yeah. When I realized that and owned who I am, it's like I've got so much lived experience. In fact, I'm a committee member on the Northern Beaches Cares, which is a suicide prevention network. And, I've got lived experience with suicide. So it's just encouraging everybody to own who you are, because you are all amazing. Just bloody own it.
Absolutely. We all have our stories. We all have that which makes us unique. We don't have to compare with anybody else. Just be you, because like Pete said, you guys are amazing. You've got so much to offer. Just put yourself out there, be courageous. And another thing that comes to that is don't worry about the people out there that are haters. We don't need to worry about them.
You're always going to get them. It doesn't matter who you are, what you do, wherever you are. There will always be people who are not in your tribe, nor do you want them in your tribe.
Exactly.
So be uniquely you. And I guess my passion and my vision and mission and everything like that, and my quirkiness, like I laugh a lot. So that makes me uniquely me, Jen.
Absolutely. And and like I said, you just light me up, Pix, and I think that that's something that you're really fantastic at. So we're going to go into the R, which is another very important one. Actually, all of these are very important because they all play a part in you grabbing your power and being the most courageous you. We're talking about the R, which is relationships. So what can someone do to develop real relationships and figure out those that are beneficial to them and maybe those that aren't?
Basically be their best self and own themselves. Like I'm all about authenticity and integrity. And, people can say, oh, authenticity is such a buzzword and it's overused and all that. But one, you don't have to lie. When you're yourself, you are yourself. You don't have to make up stories and remember, now, what did I tell that person? What did I say in that message? You are yourself. So relationships, and like I touched on before, it is about what can I give them? Because a wonderful friend and mentor of mine said, the heart that gives gathers. The heart that gives gathers. And that was Simon Reynolds. So when you give yourself of others, that's when you start, developing real relationship. It's not like a networking event where you go and here's my business card, contact me, It's
Yeah.
like really find out about people. What makes them tick? I don't really ask what do people do, because I don't really care what they do. It's who they are.
Yeah.
What floats your boat? What are your passions? That's what I want to know. And so when you really drill down to who the person is rather than what they do, that's when you really start developing those real relationships. And as I said, I take it from online to offline as much as I can really quickly.
Absolutely. And it makes a massive difference with what we said at the start about connection, to build those relationships. And since doing the Superconscious Success Summit and building the brand, the amount of amazing relationships I've formed is incredible. And the personal relationships as well as business relationships, it's about knowing who are going to be beneficial for your life, who are going to actually, because some people are energy drainers.
There's energy toppers and energy drainers, and ending relationships, whether it be personal or professional, you have to have your power, you have to be courageous. And there's something, again, personal. I've been in Sydney 2 years, and I like to connect with people that I like to connect with, basically. And there's been 2 people who have said, you're all about you, you've got no value to add. And they totally unfriended me on Facebook, and I was spending so much mental energy on that. And Katie, my gorgeous girl who I was living with, now she's living with her beautiful partner in the Netherlands, she said, Mum, why are you focusing on those 2 out of 5,000? Literally. And it was like, you're so right. These 5-minute friends, I've got long-term 30-year friends who know me. They know my quirkiness and uniqueness, and they know who I am and what I have, do, be, and give. And it's like, why am I focusing on these 2? And then I just had to let go. And so there are definitely relationships, personal or professional, that you have to let go.
You do. And I think that it's important that we don't try to change who we are to fit in with somebody else's expectations of us. So if somebody does not accept you for who you are, they are not supposed to be in your life. So just recognize that as you build that courage, have the courage to let go of those relationships.
Definitely.
So we're going to go on to the A, and that is attitude.
They're all my faves, but this is probably my extra fave. And I will be honest, over Christmas and New Year, like, I'm an extroverted, family-oriented person. COVID just put the wind up everybody. But I spent a lot of the day on Christmas Day by myself and New Year's Day by myself, New Year's Eve. And I went, wow, this is so different. I did get in a funk. And I was like, wow, you practice and preach about attitude, girl. And you got a shit one at the moment. And I went, it's okay. I told my kids, because, I didn't have them around. And they said, it's okay, Mum. You can't be up all the time. So they were my little mentors. So now what I do for my attitude, it's what you feed your tummies and what you feed your minds. I've got 2 online health and wellness businesses that support my coaching. So one is based off frequency therapy. So enter the Healy. And the other one is a nutrition, skincare and cosmetic business. And that's in 6 countries. So I'm really learning about the gut-brain connection. So what you feed your tummies. Also, I'm so grateful. That helps feed my attitude. And literally before this interview, I'm dancing around the house because I needed to top up my amazing attitude. I wanted to give my best for your listeners and your viewers, Jen. So, I love Alicia Keys, Girl on Fire, and Rachel Platten, Fight Song. Kesha, This Is Me. All those pump up songs. So that's what feeds me. Going to the beach as well. I love going to the beach. That tops up my attitude. Meditation. I'm a beach crew leader for making meditation mainstream.
Fantastic.
So I love that as well. And that's put more mindfulness in my day and helped me become calmer. I'm still crazy, energetic, high, active. I'm also much more calmer. And I think I've had about probably maybe 2 or 3 tear sessions in COVID. And over the course of like what's coming up for 12 months now, that's pretty damn good for a menopausal 54-year-old to go, okay, yeah. So, yeah, just, and as Tony Robbins says, you've got to change your state to change your attitude.
Absolutely.
I always thought it was the other way around. Motion creates emotion. And it's like, no, if you're feeling down, no, you've got to get out of action, get into action to get out of that funk state.
That's right, because I mean, even just how you stand and how you walk and how your body is will change how you're feeling. I often say, like, if I'm feeling a little bit sad, then I just smile, and it's hard to do sometimes if you're not feeling like it. But you cannot be angry or you cannot be sad if you're smiling. It is the way that it works. But the thing is that I love music too.
Yeah.
My kids are.
What's your fave song, Jen? Your fave pump up song? Or have you got one?
Do you know what? Have you ever heard "I Love My Life" by Ronan Keating?
I love.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, It's My Life?
No, I Love My Life.
Oh, I have to check that one out.
I would sing, except I'm really bad at it, and I don't want to put my listeners through that. But it's all about loving who you are and loving your life. And I have a whole playlist, and I'm actually going to put that in under your show notes in the playbook because. I think it's really important that people create their own playlist of songs
definitely
that
pump up songs. It's literally, you have to change your style. In fact, I'll give you an example. I was at a Tony Robbins seminar here in Sydney before I moved down here. About 2,000 of us. He got us all into a suffering state. He said, you think of something that makes you so sad, tears at your heart. And I did think of my nephew's suicide because it was post that. And I wasn't tearful, but, there were others in the audience that had their own suffering state and were. And, you could just feel the energy absolutely drain.
Yeah.
And then he put on music, and then we're dancing, we're hugging, and there were tears of joy.
Yeah.
And to go from like the absolute depths of feeling so low momentarily to changing your energy. So that really reinforced that you change your state to change your mindset. And it was like, it's such a decision. It absolutely is.
It is. And my daughter, she's a big proponent of this. If she's feeling a little bit down, because, she's 16, so she's hormonal and, we feel like that at 16. The first thing she does is she goes, Mum, I'm going in my room. I'm going to blast the music.
Yeah. Yep.
And I am 100% okay with that. I said, you go for it. And by the time she's finished listening to her music, she's all pumped up again.
Yeah.
And I think that we need to listen to that, and we need to change that state from one where we're feeling sorry for ourselves or we're feeling down to one where, wow, life is great and I feel good. So
I'm not saying like there's toxic positivity where it's like you sugarcoat everything. It's all unicorns and rainbows.
Down.
Life isn't. No way.
No.
Especially now. It's the matter of acknowledging that. Like I had to acknowledge my Christmas festive funk. And then go, okay, tomorrow's a new day, but then pull myself out of it. So just do whatever you need to do to get out of it, and there are people willing to help. So please reach out to others.
Absolutely. And so talking about that, we go to the G where we're talking about gratitude.
Yeah.
And like attitude, gratitude is equally as important. So why is gratitude so important? And how do you begin to instill it in your life when maybe things are feeling like, what have I got to be grateful for?
Yeah. I mean, I was always brought up well-mannered. Please, thank you, and often you say thank you by rote.
Yeah.
But mean thanks, like thank you so much, Jen, for this incredible opportunity, for this super summit. I mean that. So meaning the words rather than just saying them.
Yep.
Also, with gratitude, it just literally helps you feel more positive, being grateful. And I'm not talking about, the earth-shattering things to be grateful for. I have a gratitude rock all around my house. Is it significant? No. But I look at it. It is such a visual reminder to go, what am I grateful for? on my phone, I have a notification, not an alert, because that's a negative connotation. I have a notification at 12:34, which has been off because, I am grateful for ... Each and every day, Monday to Sunday, what am I grateful for that day? It might be the beautiful, refreshing rain. It might be a beautiful sunrise, whatever it is. When you start putting yourself into that gratitude state, it changes the endorphins, the feel-good hormones in the brain. So it really is, a physiological benefit for being grateful. And I also have a gratitude journal. I write down 5 things that I'm grateful for each and every night. Sometimes I write down what I'm grateful for in the morning, but most nights I write down those 5 things. So having that grateful heart, you're just calmer, you're more focused, and you literally are more thankful for things, and you aim to see the positives in life rather than the negatives. And there's a part of your brain, the RAS, the reticular activating system, near the amygdala. What you think about, you bring about. So the more grateful you are, the more positivity you literally attract into your life. Vibrational.
Absolutely. And it's also the more grateful you are, the more positive people you bring into your life too.
Oh, yeah.
Because the vibration is naturally higher. So that's fantastic. We're going to go to the last one, which is the E, and that is to enjoy life. We are here to enjoy life. So how do you go about bringing joy into your life when you've spent so long focused on the adversity and the trauma that you've gone through?
Yeah, just the past is the past. The future is the future. The present is the present. That's all we have right here, right now. That's why it's a gift. So I do enjoy each and every day. Yeah, I was in the funk over festive season, but hey, it happened. But now I live life. I love life. My passion, I'm living my passion of empowering and educating others to live their best life. My life is far from perfect, absolutely. But I literally dance in the circumstance, and, doing presentations online, offline when we can, connecting with people, going to the beach. That's my go-to. I'm a water sign. I'm Cancer. So Mum, and even though I was born in Ballarat, like inland, we used to holiday by the beach, and we did have a beautiful painting of a ship, a sailing ship on the ocean, of course. And so I kind of always had that visual up there. And now I choose to live by the beach here in Sydney. It's a conscious decision to do that. So that allows me to enjoy life, and, taking time out with family, friends, my partner. Getting off my device is one thing that's a biggie for me, especially having, being an entrepreneur and online businesses, and just having time out and meditation. So that's pretty much how I enjoy life.
Fantastic. Well, do you know what? I have absolutely loved going through your 7-step process. The 7 steps is everything that I try to instill in my life, and I see you do as well. And I hope that everybody has gotten a lot of value out of this, and that you can start to bring that power back, that you can start to be courageous, and you can start to recognize that that you are so worth it. And you are so worth forgiving yourself and forgiving others, and having that open heart and that open-mindedness to recognize that everybody makes mistakes. And forgiveness is so important in being able to push through that. So thank you so much for being here with us today, Pix. I have so loved having you, and you're a shining light to us all. So really appreciate it. But before we go, can you just let our listeners know, everything is going to be in the playbook under your beautiful picture and everything else. But can you let everybody else know where they can find you? What you have to offer,
Well, I'm very active on socials, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and also on TikTok, all under my name, Pix Jonasson. That's PixJonasson. And I do have my website, pixjonasson.com. And, we've got wonderful bonuses there. And I love connecting with people, just simply to have a chat and find out about them. So please feel free to reach out and connect and communicate with me. And again, thank you so much, Jen, for this awesome Super Summit, and also the honour and privilege of presenting here.
Oh, thank you so much, Pix, and we'll keep in touch.